Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NXT The Game Season 2, Episode 105. This is NXT Resistance. That's right, it's being held by NXT tonight in front of 6,553 screaming NXT Universe fans at California's Maple Pavilion. The show opens up with Andrade Cien El Idolo standing in the ring with his associate Zelina Vega, who has a microphone in her hand. The fans boo, as before she could even willing to speak, Vega asks the fans if they'd give Andrade the respect he deserves by being quiet for just a few short moments. This incites the crowd, of course, which causes Almas to smile. Almas steps up to the ropes and looks around, putting his hand in the air, asking for more and more and more. As Almas gives him a hug, she begins to speak. Vega gets into how Andrade Cien Almas as a former NXT heavyweight champion, and the fact that he was overlooked for joining Gargano last week to take on Roddy Strong was a crime. Vegas notes she and Almas are in a good mood tonight and are willing to consider Regal having a brain fart in his old age. The fans boo. Vega says, "Let this be our crying decree, William." Pausing for dramatic effect, Andrade is a champion, born and bred a champion, a warrior, and he's without gold. Andrade is declaring himself the number one contender for the NXT World Championship. Almost was great here. Vega was great as well. 69C out the gate. Excellent. The fans cheer, though, as William Regal's theme hits and Regal steps out. Regal takes his bow and begins to speak. He already has a microphone. Regal thanks Almas for so gracefully being willing to be the number one contender to Roderick Strong's NXT World Championship. However, says Regal, he has something else in mind. The fans cheer. "Now, I had a main event planned for tonight already, but I've decided to shift direction. After you two came out and determined that you, Andrade, were the number one contender without having earned it, and the Women's Fatal 5-Way tonight is already set to determine the NXT Women's World Championship number one contender, I'm pivoting and declaring tonight the night of contenders." The fans cheer, as Almas and Vega seem confused. "Andrade, you want to be number one contender?" Almas shakes his head vigorously. "Well, I'm going to give you a chance. A 1 in 5 chance, a 20% chance. So tonight," says Regal, "in our main event, we're going to see Eric Young, the leader of Sanity, take on Johnny Gargano." The fans cheer. "Take on Pete Dunne of Manifest Destiny." The fans boo. "Take on Ty Dillinger. Take on Andrade Cien Almas." So ADB here, the Resistance Roddy versus the World storyline has advanced. The performance of Regal was good. This angle got the crowd hotter, and commentary was good here. No skill improvements, but we're going to have a Fatal 5-Way tonight. 2 Fatal 5-Ways to determine our contenders for the Resistance TakeOver event before we end up with Legacy, which is our WrestleMania, of course. ADB. Next, we see Tyler Bate walking backstage to the ring with a huge smile on his face. Tyler Bate must have found out who his partner was for tonight's match. His partner, Regal said he knew very well last week and was brought over and into the NXT Resistance from the UK developmental territory. Pate and his partner are in tag team action next. So 72B, who is the second of 3 NXT UK workers, our developmental promotion that are brought over, obviously. Will Ospreay is on Rage. Who will be on Resistance with Tyler Bate? Of course, in an extremely short match, Mustache Mountain. That is Tyler Bate and the former NXT number one contender to the UK Championship, Trent Seven, defeat Adam Thornstowe and Yanel Diaz in 5:23 when Trent Seven defeated Diaz by submission. Bate carried the match with Thornstein being the weak link. 44 for 7, 71 for Dunn. Diaz with a 37, Thornstein with a 26. Hopefully we can go ahead and boost up Trent Seven's overness and get his ratings up in terms of how he'll be rated. All right, do we have any improvements? Yes, excellent. Trent is improving in performance skills. A 47D, not exactly what I would have wanted, but it's a glorified jobber match, and that's okay. Remember, with the split brands, we have far less workers to use, and we'll be going back to more of the enhancement strategy that NXT portrays on their weekly television. 47D. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Change his gimmick. All right, old school face, below average. That's okay. That's all right. We'll work on it, Trent. Trent Seven and Tyler Bate are declared the winners, as Bate is thrilled to see his good friend Trent here on NXT and Resistance. The arms of Mustache Mountain are raised as the smiles are apparent. So yeah, Mustache Mountain is back together again. They will not be teaming all the time, but they will be friends and they will team on occasion. 30-60 minus. Next up, wow, this is all Lars Sullivan by himself. Lars Sullivan is shown walking down the hallway and towards the ring. He is next in action. His menace is like at 88, so I'm guessing that's where his... I mean, I booked the segment on menace, but Jesus. 85B plus just for Lars by himself. All right, next up in a short match, Lars Sullivan defeats Joe Jeter in 3:39 with a spear. 56 for Sullivan, 55 for Vetter. Joe Vetter and Lars Sullivan have pretty good chemistry and it lifted the match. Well, that's good. Lars Sullivan's storyline has began. And Lars with a good win tonight here over Joe Vetter, a local jobber, 52D plus. No Way Jose returns next week. We haven't seen Jose in quite a while, but an 80B for Jose here tonight as he is on the Resistance brand. All right, next up, and about that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Candice LaRae defeats Abby Layth, Ember Moon, Mandy Rose, and Nikki Cross in 8:27 when LaRae pinned Mandy Rose with a heartbreaker, Mandy Rose with a weak link, but Candice LaRae is your #1 contender to to Asuka's Women's World Championship. Chemistry was great at the commentary booth. This match did his job and gave the crowd a breather. 69 for Layth, 83 for LaRae, 82, 60, 75 down the line. Is anyone ready for Asuka? That storyline has advanced and gained heat. No skill improvements. That's unfortunate. But a 73B minus for the ladies. I will take that all day. Candice LaRae has done it. Candice LaRae is your #1 contender to Asuka's NXT World Women's Championship. And Candice LaRae came across well. This is good. We've lost a little heat in the segment, but maybe this is proving that Candice is ready for a bigger role here. Johnny's wife, obviously. 68 C+. All right, next up we get a fancy video overlay split into 5 different parts. We see Johnny Gargano, Ty Dillinger, Andrade Cien Almas with Zelina Vega, Eric Young with Nikki Cross, and Pete Dunne with Asuka, all getting ready for the big main event coming up next. Gargano and Ty Dillinger struggled. That's not great. Andrade Cien Almas struggled. Eric Young was good. Pete Dunne didn't do well. Okay, so only Eric Young is going off script for going forward. This is unfortunate. Roddy versus the World storyline has advanced, as is the Anyone Ready for Asuka storyline. Asuka is learning to show more charisma. That's great because she needs to show more charisma. That's pretty much the only thing she's missing. 78B. We get a graphic letting us know that next week, Mr. and Mrs. NXT will also be in existence. Mr. NXT and Mrs. NXT came off as real stars. That's great. 60 plus. They'll be here next week, guys. The camera pops up, blending on Kathy Kelly. Speaking of stars, the camera then pulls itself back and reveals none other than the Revival, Scott Dawson, and Dash Wilder, much to the fans' delight. Kathy Kelly asks Dash and Dawson about the returning Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, who hadn't been in a single... Kathy Kelly asked Dash and Dawson about the returning Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, who hadn't been seen since the Mega 12 Juniors tournament, and then having them reform their world-famous tag team from years ago, calling themselves the Undisputed Era. That was really botched by my part. I apologize, everyone. Dash smirks and asks Kathy Kelly how she thinks they feel. They were blindsided by 2 men who do what they all men do, use the Revival to make a name for themselves. Dawson takes over and says it's nothing new. People have been doing this for years, trying to make a name off the Revival's back. And it's fine. We get it. We keep beating them back. But these guys came out from behind. They attacked us when we weren't even looking. And they're going to pay, says Dash. The Revival walks away from Kathy Kelly, letting it be known that the Undisputed Era better be ready. So an Undisputed storyline has advanced with the segment. That's great. 80B plus Kathy Kelly hyping up with the Revival here. And on to the main event. In our main event, and about that had great heat and good wrestling, Eric Young defeats Ty Dillinger, Andrade Cien Almas, Johnny Gargano, and Pete Dunne, when Eric Young defeated Johnny Gargano by pinfall with a spike power after a distraction from the returning Adam Cole. 85 for Gargano, 53 for Ty, 77 for Almas, 66 for Eric Young, and 61 for Pete Dunne. Excellent. Eric Young with the 3rd highest score of the match. Great. Eric Young. This makes me happy. I'm pushing him right now. Pushing Sanity as well as, of course, the United States Tag Team Champions. But Eric Young gets a much-deserved push after he's continuing to improve. Bet you he improved here, too. Eric Young is improving in performance. Absolutely great. Almost as if he needed to improve anymore. He's improving in technical. He is just a beast. 72B-. Let's go ahead and go forward. Tom Phillips on commentary now mentions that this is the first time we've seen Adam Cole since he's asked William Regal for a leave of absence months ago after his losing streak. The camera shows Johnny Gargano, who's now sitting up after being pinned, shocked, disheveled, thanks to a big distraction from Adam Cole that caught everyone in the building off guard as his returning cost Johnny Gargano the match, and Eric Young having hit his finisher. Eric Young's arms are now raised, and he is declared the #1 contender to Roderick Strong's NXT World Championship. The camera stays on Young for a bit longer before we fade to Gargano. Then Adam Cole, who's walking up the ramp very slowly. What's his beef with Gargano? So everyone was awful here. Gargano struggled going off strip, almost improvised well throughout. Zelina helped almost. Eric Young enjoyed. Pete Dunne enjoyed. Okay, so I don't understand. If you guys know why this is, let me know. All these workers were awful last segment off script, and they were great this time off script. I don't get it. 78B. Oh, that's very frustrating. Okay, 78B to end the show. Hopefully we at least got a 70 for this show. This was a rough show. 77B. I will take it. This show increased our popularity in 45 regions. So this was NXT The Game, Season 2, Episode 105 of NXT Resistance. NXT Rage will be our next show. And, guys, as we continue to push through the brand split, we'll continue to flesh more stuff out. And until then, it's going to be a little rocky because we have lots of guys who we haven't been utilizing because we haven't had time to utilize them that are going to now have to be put into prominent positions. But you guys all told me you wanted the brand split, so we went ahead and did it. This was NXT The Game Season 2, Episode 105, NXT Resistance. I'm Mikey Bro, wishing everyone a glorious rest of your day.